Hey guys, Josh from the Redneck Homestead channel here. We are driving up to the off-grid cabin. My phone just made some really crazy alert noise, and it said that there is a tornado warning for central New Hampshire right now. So that's a first. But we're driving up here, and it vacillates between moments of intense downpour and bright, beautiful sunshine. And now we're kind of going into the White Mountains on Interstate 93, and it's really kind of cool. So I'm going to spin the camera around real quick and see if you can get any of this. It's not nearly as beautiful as when the mountains just pop right out of the landscape, but it's kind of cool nevertheless. So we still have another, I would say, almost 2 hours to go, and we'll be there. We're gonna get there kind of late, and we'll trek up into the woods and spend the night in the... This is a pretty cool shot here, descending down here into the Cannon Mountain Valley. The cloud is like totally just in suspension right here. And I'll tell you, the ceiling, the service ceiling, I guess you might say in aviation terms, is probably only 150 feet. Until you look over here. See what I'm talking about? If you don't like the weather in New England, just wait a minute. It just gets totally green and gorgeous again. See why we can never really get sick of this? And this is probably one of my favorite structures, mountain structures. That is a totally manly scene right there. This scene here is called the Hound Dog. If you see the head of the hound dog on the left hand side, and then his butt's up in the air, and it's kind of as though his hind legs are scrunched together and facing forward. Kind of neat. You can see there the sign for the Old Man of the Mountain Historic Site. Anyone who's from New Hampshire or New England knows of the Old Man of the Mountain. It was a naturally occurring granite face in more than one way. It looked like a face, and it was also the face of a mountain, and it looked like an old man. It resembled an old man almost perfectly. And it's a famous historic site, I guess, naturally occurring historic site. Well, the Old Man of the Mountain literally fell off the side of the mountain. You know, I guess for years the rock had weakened, and they had made efforts to repair it, which succeeded for several decades, and then eventually the old man just fell off the side of the mountain. That there is Cannon Mountain, a pretty rugged and aggressive ski area, which I have been to in the past, but I've kind of traded in my passion for... I've actually been snowboarding for years and years and years, but decades, but kind of lost the fire for that. When I was younger, I used to go all the time, and Cannon was on my list. It's a little mountain lake here. I think it's called Echo Lake. Pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. It's a pretty nice vista. Facing northwest. Over into Vermont. Heading into the White Mountain National Forest, into a region of New Hampshire known as the Great North Woods. For privacy reasons, I have opted to not give too many specifics as to our location. So if you see signs here, well, we're in New Hampshire. There are signs all over the place, but we're pretty far away from the cabin still. But it's pretty neat to see the drive up.
NPR News. Lawyers for the Washington National Football.
Okay guys, it's 10 minutes past 8, and the sun is just about ready to creep over the horizon, It's getting kind of dusky, and I am in a real push to get up there and up to the cabin before nightfall. We intended to leave the house in central New Hampshire. Oh, look at the river. It's actually the creek, I guess you call it, down south. But we intended to leave the house in central New Hampshire around 4 o'clock, and you know, we're on Josh Standard Time here. I'm always late. If you haven't figured that out about me, well, now you know. I'm always late. We didn't even leave till what time, Julie?
5:30.
We left at 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, and here we are. It's about 10 minutes past 8, and we're just pulling in. So we've got to get up in through the woods, and we got to assess the mud situation at the driveway. And I think I'm going to pull out at least one of the four-wheelers and the little tractor with the trailer on the back, which I refer to as the tractor trailer. And we'll load all the gear into the tractor trailer and see if it'll make it all the way in. We'll keep you posted. Oh, look at all those power trucks. Looks like they're doing some work on the power grid. Well, see where those power lines go? That's where they go. They're not going our place. All right, last year in the springtime, this was totally washed out, and my friend and his kids and I threw all these logs across the road here, and it's held up reasonably well. I'm just kind of walking ahead to make sure there's no super soft spots. Well, it's pretty solid. There are some really soft spots way up there. And we actually pulled a guy out who was stuck. Both axles were sunk in the mud. But we'll see if this guy can make it. All right, I did a quick survey of the scene. It is such a freaking disaster. This road, this driveway, is such a monumental, quintessential mess. I am like really angry right now about this. I'm not angry at anyone in particular. I'm angry at myself for not having better planning and forethought. I mean, four-wheelers can basically go anywhere. I'm like crazily impressed with their performance in these types of conditions. And I just brought my least aggressive four-wheeler up here, and it made it. It wasn't very fun. There's no way that I'm gonna risk taking my 2-year-old baby, Julie, and Davey up here in these conditions. Go back and look at some of my winter getting stuck videos, and I made a pledge that none of this is worth getting hurt or killed or maimed or a broken leg or whatever. It's just not worth it. So I'm making an executive decision to park the tractor trailer and the four-wheeler right here. And we're gonna deal with this thing first in the morning, and we're gonna go get a motel room. And you know what? This will be the, I don't know, this is gonna be $100 or $150 motel lesson. A lesson to me that I gotta come on. I mean, seriously, I gotta get this thing done.